Hey, my name is Melissa. This is the first video that I have recorded solo. I have appeared on my boyfriend's YouTube channel. The channel name is à-bas-le-ciel, but this is the first video on my own YouTube channel, which I am starting because I want to have something online that is a representation of myself, that documents the struggles in my life, documents what I'm going through, and hopefully one day I can look back and see how much I've progressed. Maybe one day my kid can look at the YouTube channel and see what I was like back in the day. So another reason why I thought I would start the channel is to make more connections with people. Not necessarily in real life, though that would be great. I realize that the internet can connect you to people that you wouldn't have known otherwise. I met my boyfriend through looking at his YouTube channel, so you never know who you're gonna meet when you put yourself out there online. So that's what I'm hoping with this YouTube channel. And also for me, it's always been easier for me to communicate with written language than spoken language. I was an English major in college and I wrote many essays, but to me, it's always been a little bit of a struggle to express myself concisely. So that's something that I want to challenge myself to do with this channel. So I thought the first topic that I would bring up is my recent dabbling in reading ancient Greek literature. So before this, I had never read any ancient Greek literature. I had heard of Socrates, I had heard of Aristotle. Of course, Greek mythology is mentioned in so many things in Western culture. I knew vaguely about the Trojan War, and yeah, so there are some things that I knew about vaguely, but this is the first time I actually went through the effort and read some of ancient Greek literature. And for me, I'm not quite through it, but I want to go through each of the works probably one by one and make videos about them, because to me I think there's a lot to discuss in each of them and they are really interesting, and I don't know if there's so much on YouTube about these particular works. I know that people have devoted their lives to scholarly pursuits specifically about ancient Greek literature, but I don't know in the modern age if so many people really take the time to read them. And I do think it's really important. It's something that I have found valuable in my life. I'm not sure, I didn't keep account when I was in college, but I think I must have read at least 100 novels, and to me, just reading these works, I think, has been more valuable. You get way more bang for your buck when you read these than you would reading tons of literature. So yeah, I would really encourage anybody who sees this video to give it a shot. For me, I was given a background in this from my boyfriend. He encouraged me to get into it. So it was helpful when I was first reading these things to talk with him about the places, and I think what was most challenging when I first started reading them was the place names, the geography, learning about the wars. So, you know, just do some reading on Wikipedia. What I did was look up each of the authors. So I've been reading Plato, I've been reading Aristotle, I've been reading Xenophon, and Thucydides. So I went through each of their Wikipedia pages and read about them and each of the works too. So for me, I did at first get kind of hung up on the Greek mythology and some of the notes. So some of the texts are more heavily annotated. Some of them have more footnotes than others, and I was kind of getting bogged down at first, like, oh, do I need to really know about this Greek myth? And basically, no. Like, I mean, you can still get the point of each of the works without being an expert in the history. But yeah, and also it was helpful to look up each of the wars that are kind of mentioned, like the Trojan War, the Persian War, and I've been reading Thucydides, which is a documentation of the Peloponnesian War. So reading a little bit about the Peloponnesian War in a concise Wikipedia page is helpful when you're first starting. I'm not quite through this, as you can see, but this is the longest work out of all of the ones that I've read, and it's, you know, as you can see, it's a pretty thin book. It's not like reading a novel, though. That's what I've encountered with reading this. It's easy to skim or read a novel fast. You know, I'm a pretty fast reader with novels, but with these, it really requires patience, and sometimes I will read a passage 3 times to really get it. But yeah, like, some are easier to get through than others. This is actually a book with 4 works. So it has Euthyphro, Apology, Crito, and Clouds. And each of them are pretty short. So that is kind of cool about ancient Greek works. At the time, I'm not an expert, but at the time I know it was not so easy to write down stories and to document them, just in terms of having availability of writing materials. So yeah, so they're pretty short. This one that I have read also has 4 different works within this book, and it's not that big. So yeah, and as I said, quite a few of them are heavily annotated, so like when you're looking at a page, quite a bit of it is actually like notes. So yeah, I would really recommend anybody, you know, improve their knowledge by reading ancient Greek literature. And to me, like, some of the ideas are so fresh and relevant. It's amazing to me that it was written 2,000 years ago. So yeah, it's been pretty awesome to read through these. I wish I would have read them earlier. You know, I'm 25 years old, so it took me a while to get to reading something of this caliber. But, you know, I guess I could say now, I came from a family that didn't really put emphasis on independent reading or being an autodidact, teaching yourself how to read, not how to read, but like teaching yourself how to get into more ancient literature like this. My dad doesn't read, literally. He doesn't read. My mom just reads novels for the most part, but not very often, you know. So yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of where I come from. I did go to university, but obviously didn't get much of an education there, to be honest. So anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say today, but like I said, I would like to make YouTube videos about each of the works, kind of do a review of each of them, and say what was meaningful in them to me. So yeah, I hope this first video was alright, and I will see you soon.